Hi everyone, and welcome to Creative Chelsey. If you like this video, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up or commenting below. If you want to see more of my videos, press the subscribe button and click on the bell for notifications. If you need any Stampin' Up! Products to make these cards, you can visit my online store and the link is in the description box below. Today I would like to share with you my third alternative project using the November 2020 paper pumpkin kit called Jolly Gingerbread. But before I do that, I'd like to share with you the original project that you could make with this kit. This kit came with enough supplies to create 15 of these cute gift card holders, and they have a design on the front and back. They open at the top, and then you can slide them into these cute little envelopes. You can watch me unbox this kit in the playlist, and I'll link that up here in the top right corner. As part of this unboxing video, I also created this fun treat box, and you can see how I did that in the unboxing video as well. So for this fun alternative project, I wanted to use the pattern paper found in the envelope. I love that it has that candy cane striped look. And then I wanted to use these cute little candy dots that came in the kit as well. Plus, I wanted to show you how you could create a similar card using the stamp set if you have ran out of the gingerbread houses. So let's go ahead and get started making these cards. So some of the things you need from the kit would be one of the gingerbread houses, one of the front gingerbread pieces, a label, and I'm using the mint macaron, and then one of the envelopes. From your own craft supplies, you're going to need some card bases, and I'm using Cinnamon Cider, and I have two, and they're cut to 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches and scored at 4 1/4. Then you're also going to need 2 strips of cardstock in Blushing Bride, and they are 5.5 inches by 2.5 inches. You're going to need a strip for the greeting, and this is 3/4 inches by 3 inches. And then you're going to need to stamp, color, and fussy cut out one of the gingerbread houses from the stamp set in the kit. And if you'd like to see how I've done this, you can watch my technique video, and that is also part of the playlist that is linked in the top right corner. So let's begin with our stamping. So we're just going to stamp like we have on our other videos, the designs on the front of our gingerbread house. And so using the Blushing Bride stamping spot and the images that came in the stamp set, we're just going to go ahead and stamp this on the front and then do the same with the top. I really like how these designs add so much character to the front of the gingerbread houses. And so that's why I haven't really done any without them, is I really like those scrolls. If you like something that's a little more plain, you don't have to do this step. You can keep that front nice and plain if you like that. Next, we're gonna stamp the greeting, wishing you a jolly Christmas. I'm gonna stamp it first in the Blushing Bride. And then I'm going to stamp it again in Shaded Spruce on the mint macaron paper. If by chance you don't have Shaded Spruce ink, you can use maybe a black or a brown ink as well. And that just goes right there in the center. All right, so now that some of our stamping is done, we're going to go ahead and cut down some of the pieces from the kit. So let's start with our gingerbread house, and I'm just using the front of this gingerbread house, and so we can just go ahead, trim off the flap, and then trim right in the center. And we can add this to the front. Now you might notice that I have removed actually the background from this gingerbread house, and I've just used the doorway here. The reason that I chose to do that was because I felt like it created a cleaner image here in the middle, But if you want to keep your gingerbread house, you can do that as well. You'll also notice that I've used a yellow one here, but I have a shaded spruce one. And that's because I just ran out of my yellows because I had used them to create this cute treat box. So what I'm going to do is just trim around the door frame. Okay, so you want to make a wide trim, and the reason for that is so that you can attach it behind with some of the Stampin' Dimensionals. So I cut these in half so that you don't see them, and I'm just going to place them right along the edge. And that's just going to hold this door in place. And then we'll use that one later. So go ahead and remove the paper. And you can see how I've tried to keep it outside of that green doorway. And so then, hopefully, I can line it up so that you don't see those dimensionals in the doorway. You can see a little bit of that brown still, so I am going to kind of take my paper snips and just trim that even more so you don't see any of that brown coming at the bottom. So now we can add this to the center of our Blushing Bride cardstock. I'm going to place some dimensionals along the outside and then do some adhesive behind the door. And then just kind of place that, eyeball it right there in the center. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit more. And then we're going to stamp the decorative scrolling at the top and bottom. So go ahead and ink up your Blushing Bride, or ink up the stamp with Blushing Bride. And then we're going to flip it over, and you want to just center it so that it looks centered with the gingerbread house. And so that's why we added the house first and stamped second. Normally I would recommend doing it the other way around so that you don't get any stamped like ink where you don't want it. But this way you know that things are centered and look centered on your card. Okay. So you're going to get something like that. So we're now going to add the stamped and colored gingerbread to the center for our second card. So let's go ahead and add this to our card with some dimensionals. And this just gets centered as well, maybe just a little bit higher than middle. And then we're going to stamp again that cute decorative design at the top and bottom. And so this isn't quite as important that it looks centered with the gingerbread house, so just make sure it looks centered along the bottom. And so it looks like that. And then the last thing we need to do before we can put our card together is cut down our envelope so we can get some of those strips. So go ahead and trim off and one edge and then the bottom. And then I like to open it up and then trim right along the other edge. And then you're just gonna find the kind of that score line there where the flap is. So let's see. Go ahead and trim to 4 1/4, and that will remove that score line. Now we're going to cut 4 of these at 1/2 inches. Okay, so now we have those 4 1/2-inch strips by 4 1/4, and we're going to add them to the back of our Blushing Bride cardstock. So to do this, I'm just going to place a little bit of adhesive along the edge. And you could use glue dots here if you don't have the Stamped and Seal. And what I like to do is use my grid paper. And so I'm just going to line up my Blushing Bride. I'm going to flip this over, and then I'm going down, since this is 4 1/4 and this is 5 1/2, I need about, what is it? 1, 2, 4, 5/8 on each side. So just kind of eyeball about middle with about 1/4 of an inch showing. Okay, so you're going to have about that. And then do the same thing here. So what I'm looking at is 2 1/2 inches, or 2 1/2 squares, excuse me, which will be about 5/8 of an inch, and then it's 1/4 of an inch out on the outside. So I'll do that again. So line it up, look at 2 1/2 squares, go to the next square line, which is 1/4 of an inch, and then go ahead and adhere it to that card base. Let's bring that down just a little bit more. Okay, so now that those pieces are on, we can add some more adhesive and add this to our card. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that to both pieces. So you can take your card bases and fold along the score line, and then take your piece, and then it just goes off to the left of the card. And so I like to stand my card up. I don't know if you saw that. I like to stand my card up so that I can make sure that it's nice and level at the bottom, and then add it to my card. So you're going to get something like that. And then repeat for your second card. So again, I stand it up and lay that piece on the table as well, and then I know that it's nice and flat. And you're going to get those 2 cards very similar to one another. The last thing we need to do is add our greetings. So for this card, we're just going to add the wishing you a jolly Christmas right off to the right side of that door, just like that. And then for this one, we're going to create that little flag on each end with the banner's Pick-a-Punch. And then we're going to do the same and place that off to the side and a little bit below. You can see I had a little mess up on the back. There's always 2 sides to your paper, so if you mess up, don't worry about it and just flip it over. So that just goes right below that cute little house. So the last thing we need to add are these cute little candy embellishments. And so you can place these anywhere. I'm going to place one there and maybe add one there. Let's do this one right there. Let's do a yellow. I'm going to add a little embellishment actually right here, and I want it to pop up. So all I need to do is just take a dimensional and squeeze it into that hole, and then I can place this right over that dimensional. I want to make sure that it covers the dimensional so we don't see it. Okay, so something like that. So you've got 2 little candies here at the bottom and then 1 in the hole. And then let's do the same here. So we've got 1 there, and let's add another one maybe here, and let's just tuck another one right in there. So something like that. So super cute cards. I hope you enjoyed watching me create these alternative cards today. If you are interested in seeing close-up images or getting written instructions on how I created these cards, you can visit my blog, creativechelsey.com. If you'd like to subscribe to receive your own paper pumpkin kit, you can do so through the link in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a creative day. Bye.